no.
Ocho Cinco, was he a quarterback?
Your ass better call somebody.
He's gone for the touchdown. Caldwell Pope. How about that one, baby?
It's Sports Entertainment today.
How did he win this game?
This is bleach.
Take the loop out of the playbook, please. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the College Football Weekly Matchup, College Football Week 7. Josh had a rough week last week. Alabama losing to Texas A&M in a rough game, Also didn't do too well in the pick'ems. What's your thoughts on Bama and A&M overall in the game?
Well, definitely kind of took me by surprise a little bit. When the season started, this was a game I had circled. And when the A&M lost to Arkansas and then lost to Mississippi State, I kind of thought Alabama had it, and I think Alabama thought so too. But apparently, Jimbo Fisher has been preparing for Alabama for a while. They came out with a lot of blitz packages that Alabama's offensive line could not pick up. They got a new offensive line coach. They got a new offensive coordinator. The youth on that side of the ball, it really showed. I've been listening to Nick Saban all year. He's kind of been giving us a warning about the intensity and practice and in games, and it showed. And if they would have played the second half, if they had played the first half like they played the second half, Alabama probably would have won that game. But and I had high hopes when we blocked that field goal or that punt and scored the touchdown. But then we turn around and give up a kick return for a touchdown, and that's when I looked at my dad and I was like, "Yeah, this ain't gonna we're gonna lose this game. The crowd's too much into it." But it happens, and like I said, I just find it funny that other fans living vicariously through Texas A&M, But when you win as much as Alabama does, they're like the Yankees or the Lakers, or you enjoy to see them lose if you're not a fan of them.
Oh yeah, I sure do. I hate the Yankees. I don't care too much for the Lakers. I hate Alabama. I was glad to see them lose. I do think Georgia can beat them. I'm glad we don't have to play them twice. Hopefully now, that's a great thing. But we still got to take them down, and Alabama's going to be ready to play now. They'll definitely get.
I think they'll bounce back, and since 2010, that's every time Alabama's lost on an opposing field's team, the field gets rushed and the team gets fined, and it hasn't happened very often, but it does happen. Ole Miss has beat us a couple of times. Auburn for sure has beat us and rushed their field. I think when South Carolina upset Alabama in 2010 with Steve Spurrier, they rushed the field then. But Alabama bounced back; they control their own destiny.
Gotcha. So overall on the week, besides, Alabama losing, you went 4-4 on your pick'ems. Bryson, he went 4-4 as well, both 500. But we had some other games go on. You had Iowa, Penn State, Michigan, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Texas. What other takeaways you got from the week as far as, college football? We are watching the Braves game, by the way. I see the Braves. Freddie Freeman just went
yard.
Yes, sir.
Too bad wasn't nobody on base.
Bottom of the eighth. Yes, sir. I just looked that way. I saw you looking. I was like, what happened?
Yeah, man. But back to college football. I was big on Iowa, especially with that game being at home for them. But early on, it looked like Penn State was going to blow them out until Clifford went down. And then Iowa was able to get back in it and pull out the win. I really don't know how strong Iowa is. I know Iowa's got a weak schedule coming up. They really don't play anybody the rest of the way. I guess Minnesota, Illinois.
Never know with Minnesota.
Yeah, there's a couple more games in there, but who knows? When you get up there, ranked up there in the top, a lot of pressure starts building.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to that number one spot. They got Kentucky coming in, but the Red River rivalry, Texas. I think Texas led Oklahoma, or Oklahoma came back after making a quarterback change, getting Radler out of there. A lot of Oklahoma fans were big on Radler coming into the season, and now they're hollering for him to leave or get out of the game. And when they brought that other guy in, man, he he done really good, and I think they overcame the second largest deficit in Red River rivalry history.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought Texas was gonna blow them out, man. It was 21-7 before you knew it.
I didn't get to catch any of the game. I was working. I didn't know. That's the first thing. I didn't get to catch it. I didn't even know. They benched Rattler. That's why they came back. Yeah. Do you know this other kid, who he is or whatnot?
Mm-mm.
No, not too much. You don't know what year he is in or whatnot.
Nope.
No.
I know that Texas's quarterback. I think his dad was an Oklahoma player years ago,
Gotcha.
and Williams guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully, you think they're gonna move on from Rattler and go with this new quarterback.
Yeah, I think so. I don't see why you'd put Rattler back in there, and plus Rattler was sore. There was videos of the guy getting the game-winning touchdown, and he was over on the sideline being all huffy and puffy, and I think he said he wants to quit the team and stuff like that, and that doesn't bode well for Oklahoma Sooner Nation.
Gotcha. And also had Michigan and Nebraska. Any thoughts on that game? Michigan barely pulling it off by 3, Nebraska hanging on.
Yeah, I was keeping up with the game. It was 13-0 at halftime. Michigan was up, and then Nebraska came fighting back, and I seen Michigan pulled it out. Really don't know how strong Michigan is either. I want to think that they're good, but when I see stuff like that, makes me wonder: is this the year that they get Ohio State?
Yeah.
But okay, yeah, his name's Williams.
Yeah.
For Oklahoma, and he went 16-25 for 212 yards and 2 touchdowns. Thompson is the guy for Texas that I'm thinking about, who's really good.
Gotcha. Any other takeaways besides those big games as far as college football week? Any other games you saw that you were surprised by or whatnot?
Not really.
Not really. Those were the kind of the main games.
Ole Miss and Arkansas was a heck of a game.
That was a shootout over there.
It was a shootout. It was intense, and Arkansas going for 2 at the end of the game. And I think that was the right call. I think it was the right play call. It just didn't pan out for them.
Yeah. And Auburn, Georgia handling business like usual. Hopefully they can keep doing it. I know we were worried a little bit about Auburn, and some people were worried, but
no, man, that Bo Nix is he's not.
I wonder how many picks he threw. I didn't even look. I wonder how many picks he threw. I didn't get to see the whole game. I wonder if I was right. I said the over/under was 3, I think, and I said I wonder if I was right. I know he's a little wild when it comes to throwing the ball, but yeah, I don't think there's.
He threw 1 interception.
1 interception? Oh, okay.
But they had a lot of drop balls in that game, just like Alabama did. A lot of drop passes. Auburn did. They had opportunities. Auburn did, but Georgia didn't give them too much.
Yeah,
Georgia didn't give them too much.
Gotcha. Well, as far as rankings wise, I guess Georgia's number 1 now.
Yep.
I know. Yeah, I'm guessing you think they should be number 1 since you guys lost. Any?
Yeah, they're number 1, and I'm kind of surprised. I mean, I send in my top 25 to StreamCity.org, the radio station that I work for. We do a top 25. All of us kind of gather our top 25, but I sent mine in, and I had Alabama at number 8, but I can't think the consensus from everybody was Alabama number 5. And that's what the AP and coaches put Alabama at, was number 5. And kind of got an argument with a guy on Facebook. He was an Ohio State fan. He was mad and saying that it's bias and this and that. I mean, 3 weeks ago, Texas A&M was number 7. And they lose those back-to-back games, get kicked out of the top 25, and then they come out and play like they did against Alabama and executed great. The game plan was great, and makes you wonder about Texas A&M. But, they got 2 conference losses that they're pretty much out of the SEC now.
Yeah, they're pretty much out of it. But they got that big win against you guys. I don't think there's any other games as far as,
One more game I wanted to touch on real quick. Sorry, Chris.
No, you're good.
the way that Kentucky manhandled LSU.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I was
LSU's
watching that
not looking
game.
good.
I was watching that game, and they were pushing them around and just manhandling them. And then LSU's top receiver goes out for the rest of the year, is what I read. I don't know how true it is yet. I don't. It was just a LSU fan on Facebook said they lost Keyshawn Butte for the rest of the year. But yeah, Kentucky is priming up, and if this game against Georgia was in Kentucky, then Georgia would only be favored probably by 17 instead of 23.
Yeah, probably that'd probably be a touchdown or maybe 20 or so. It'd be a little bit of a difference. I think I'm still surprised at the 23.5, to be honest with you, or 23. I'm still surprised by the 23. I mean, I still think that is a lot of points to be favored by an undefeated, Kentucky team, even though they haven't really, they still got to prove themselves a little bit. But yeah, I'm still a little surprised. But that was the only bright spot for LSU, is that wide receiver a little bit. And now that's gone. I don't know what they're gonna do. Don't know what they're gonna do completely. But yeah, did you have a player of the week for week 6?
Go ahead and tell me who you got.
Yeah. Well, I didn't really have one as far as a player of the week. I didn't plan on it because we usually have you guys. As far as we could skip player of the week if you want.
I'm gonna go with the guy that came in for Oklahoma and led him back. He don't have a lot of great stats, but the way that he came in and led his team for a comeback in that rivalry game down at the Texas State Fair. I mean, that was really impressive.
Yeah, if I had to choose, I'd probably choose someone on Oklahoma too to come back from 20-something points, maybe, or maybe you could even just choose, instead of choosing a player, you could choose Jimbo Fisher taking over, beating Alabama.
Hey, Texas A&M's quarterback, he made a play in the fourth quarter that was a big time play that he grew up in front of his fans' eyes. Also there's a video of the field goal kicker's family, his mom and dad, sitting in the stands watching him kick the winning field goal, and it's a split screen. That was pretty. Yeah. That gives me chills thinking about it. I mean, I'm a football fan. I'm an Alabama fan, but I'm a football fan. You know what I mean? And that was big for Texas A&M. That snapped a lot of records.
Yeah,
Alabama 100-game win streak against unranked opponents, 24-0 against former assistants.
Yeah. I did see that video with us. I did see that video, what you're talking about, of the kick and stuff.
Player of the week would be the field goal kicker for Texas A&M. That was a lot of pressure.
Yeah. We usually have, like I said, I don't know if I mentioned it after we restarted a minute ago. We usually have two others with us, Bryson and Preston, that couldn't make it tonight. So they'll be back hopefully next week. Hopefully we get back to them next week and we can all have player. Well, they can have player of the week. Usually I don't do a player of the week for college football, but we'll see. Yeah. So we'll do something here as far as we added last week. And I'm going to mention this to you. It's about Alabama. We're going to do our segment from last week called Rant of the Week. We got a Rant of the Week. Usually this is going to be Bryson's segment, but I'm going to throw in a couple things.
I got a rant, and it is about Alabama. So
Gotcha.
You go ahead with yours.
Well, I got two things here. One thing I want to ask you, if you saw this, let me see if I can pull it up here. Yeah. So my brother sent me. It says, Jimbo Fisher, and I quote, and excuse some of the languages here. It's not too bad. It says, I said I would beat his ass, and I did. I'm going to beat his ass for years to come. I'll retire him.
I'm glad he said that.
No, it's fake. I just want to see your reaction. It's not real.
He did say something along those lines.
Did he really?
Preseason. He said
really?
at a booster club event for Texas A&M. They asked,
maybe it is real then. I heard it was fake.
Well, that part was fake. That phrase, but he said they said is it going to take Nick Saban to leave for you to beat Alabama? And he said no, we're going to beat his ass while he's there. And they won. And but I seen a lump in his throat when we went up 38-31. He got a little scared, but yeah, they won. Yeah. So that second part, I know he didn't say that. Only Ed Orgeron would come off with some shit like that.
Gotcha. Well, my last thing here. Oh, I had kind of two of them. I think I forgot the second one a little bit, but one I remember. So I'm at the Braves game yesterday, and of course we had one about the Braves last week. But I'm gonna do another one. I'm at the Braves game. You got the Braves, Atlanta Braves playing, and you got the Milwaukee Brewers playing. Okay, so you see Atlanta Braves fans, you see Milwaukee Brewers fans, right? Don't you? Well, then you see people wearing Chicago Cubs, New York Yankees, Chicago Bulls. I hate to tell you, this is the Milwaukee Brewers versus the Atlanta Braves. Why are you wearing a Chicago Chug? I just don't understand why people wear. I mean, I can understand if it's a player that used to play for the team, but if you're going to go out there and you're supporting the team, unless if you're going to go out there and wear a Chicago Cubs jersey or
They wearing a
New York
Rizzo
Yankees,
jersey.
yeah, I mean, I don't even know who it was. I saw Chicago Cubs. I mean, I just don't understand it. That's one thing I don't understand. Or if you're going and you're wearing a hockey jersey or something I mean, there's people that wear, or some people that, I mean, don't mind me. I do have an Atlanta Braves shirt on and a San Francisco Joe Montana shirt. This is not mine, but there's some people that wear Chicago Bulls shirts and Lakers shirts. I mean, it just don't make sense to me. I mean, I just don't get it. But going to a game, if you're going to a game, and it's a playoff game, that's one big thing. One big thing is a playoff game. It is a playoff game. You're supposed to support the team you're rooting for, or just wear a regular shirt. Don't wear Chicago Cubs. I hate to tell you, they didn't make the playoffs, so why are you wearing it? But anyway, that was my rant. I tried to keep it PG as much as I can. I had another one, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. But what you got?
All right. Well, first of all, let me just take a look at the TV screen real quick. I apologize, but we're down to the last strike here with Will
We are
Smith.
down to the last strike here.
Let's see if he does it.
Top of the ninth.
He
Yeah, he
did it.
got him.
He got him.
Smith. Will
We
Smith
win.
does it again.
Oh,
We're moving on.
If he would have let up a run, I would have been ranting about Will Smith because he's done that all year.
Clay
But-
can't stand him.
So what I want to rant about is Alabama 1st and goal from the 3-yard line. Brian Robinson Jr. has 176 rushing yards in the game, and we passed the ball 3 straight times from the 3-yard line. And what happened to the big set? We started it with Terrence Cody in 2009. Run the big defensive lineman out there to lead block for you and run the ball in. Bill O'Brien was trying to be too cute. I don't know if it was him. I don't know if it was Bryce Young changing the play at the line of scrimmage or what, but, we settled for 3, and that was the difference in the game at the end. And, that's what I want to rant about, but I'm not a coach. And,
Yeah.
I'm a zero star coach.
Oh, well, if you remember Georgia, a few years ago, sometime even last year, probably it'd be 3rd and 17. They run the ball. They just run the ball. It just made no sense to me some of the times. It could be 2 minutes left in the game, 3rd and 17, down by 7. They'd run the ball. That's one. It was ridiculous, but we'll see.
Yeah,
I'm hoping
that was my rant of the week. That ended up, to me, that ended up being the difference. Throwing an interception in the end zone at the 2-yard line in the first half. That was rough. I was telling my dad, just line up, run the ball, just run the ball. Run the ball.
Yeah,
Your 1st and goal from the 3-yard line. Brian Robinson got you down there. Run the ball.
exactly.
Receivers must have ate a bunch of popcorn before the game because they got grease on their fingers because they can't catch the ball. But I'm really happy right now for the Atlanta Braves moving on, and I hope the Giants take care of the Dodgers tonight.
Yeah, we're in trouble. I think we might be in a little trouble either way, but we'll see. Hopefully.
We are either way, and it wouldn't matter to me. We owe the Dodgers a little revenge. We had them against the Ropes last year.
I want the best team. That's all I can say. Even though I want the best team and I want to beat the best team. Let's do it. I'm down with that. But let's go on.
Real quick, if you're a Brewers fan, how you feel watching the guy take strike 3 instead of swinging right there?
If I'm a coach, I'm mad. If you're taking strike 3 and that's your season, and I'm a player, you don't do that. You don't, especially as close as it was. It might have been right on the corner, but you swing at that. You got to swing.
Logically and realistically, as a Braves fan, this is it for the Braves. That's why they're celebrating so hard.
Yeah. We know we ain't gonna do much more. If Braves win, I tell you what, if somehow, some heckin' way, the Braves win the World Series this year, let's just say, I mean, would
And
this
Georgia,
be
and Georgia wins the national championship.
well?
Boy,
That too. No, but I'm saying, like, honestly, if the Braves win the World Series, I mean, this might be the biggest sports. With dropping your best player. You know what I mean?
oh
It
yeah,
could be one of the biggest. It could be one of the biggest sports stories of all time.
yep,
Really, it
yep.
really could. Especially the way they started off too. But let's go ahead and go into the upcoming games for Week 7. We got a big week. A lot of close lines. A lot of games I may have left off, but we'll see if there's any other games you want to talk about besides the games I put on here. I think I got about seven games or so. So let's go to the first game, 12 p.m. game, Michigan State, Indiana. Michigan State favored by 4.5. Josh, who you got?
Against Indiana. Where's this game at?
I believe it's in Indiana. I want to say it's Indiana, but I'm not 100%. I'm pretty sure it is. That's usually how they put it.
Yeah, whoever's the top team on the list will be at.
Yep, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure it's at Indiana.
Yeah, it's Michigan State at Indiana. Indiana's 2-3. Michigan State 6-0. 12 o'clock kickoff. I'm going to go Michigan State -4.5.
Michigan State 6-0.
Yeah.
Are they ranked? Or what's their rank? Are they ranked in there? Number 10. Are they really? Dang.
Yep.
I didn't know they ranked that high. I thought they might have been in the teens.
There's a handful of Big Ten teams. Well, there was. Penn State got beat, but yeah, I think it's Iowa, Michigan, and Michigan State.
Have they had any impressive wins this season? Or no? I don't even know. No. Huh. Well, I'm gonna do my picks this week. I'm gonna surprise you. I'm gonna do my picks this week as well. And I think I'm gonna roll with you. I'm gonna go with Michigan State -4.5 as well. I'm not gonna keep my record really, but I'm gonna do my picks just so we can see how I do for 1 week. We'll see how I do for 1 week.
That sounds good. Michigan State. I guess their signature win so far this year would be overtime win of Nebraska at home, 23-20. They did beat Miami at Miami.
Come on, man. Miami, you get Miami out of here. Miami ain't a big win.
I'm just saying the other game, Rutgers, Western Kentucky, Youngstown State,
beating Indiana would be a bigger win than beating Miami.
Yep, but then next week they got, or Halloween week, they got a week off, and then Halloween week they got Michigan.
Ooh, that's gonna be a good one. That's gonna be a real good one. Yeah, Indiana's not a bad team. I mean, barring injuries last year, they're a really good team. But
yeah, they've kind of I haven't been too impressed with them this year. They got shut out by Penn State 24-0. They almost got beat by Western Kentucky. They won 33-31. Cincinnati beat them. Iowa beat them. So they've had some tough games.
Gotcha. Well, let's move on to the next game. We got Nebraska and Minnesota. I believe it's at Minnesota. Nebraska favored by 3.5. Josh, do you got any lean towards this game?
Minnesota and Nebraska is favored by 3.5.
Yes, sir. Nebraska is favored by 3.5.
I'm gonna go with Minnesota.
All right,
give Minnesota and a 3.5.
I was torn on this game a little bit, and I was going to go Minnesota as well. I think we're going to be on the same boat here. And I forgot that Preston did send me his picks as well. I'll go ahead and throw his picks out there. So first game, Preston did go with, since he's not here tonight, he went with Michigan State and he went with Nebraska. So he's going to be different than us. He did go with Nebraska, and me and you's going to go Minnesota. I believe they've kept up in some games, and they've looked bad some games, they've looked good, but Nebraska always falls a little bit short. Maybe they'll come away with the win, but I don't know about 3.5 against a decent Minnesota team. We'll see. Oklahoma State, Texas favored by 5.5. Josh, any lean towards this game?
Yeah, I'm going to go Texas in the 5.5. I think Texas is kind of mad at the state of Oklahoma right now. I don't think they're going to lose 2 games to the state of Oklahoma. I'm going to go Texas. I think they'll answer back.
Gotcha. Yeah, Preston, he went with Oklahoma State, so he's going to be different with you. So he's either going to go down some more games, or he's going to go up. We'll see how he does. I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna go with Texas as well. I believe they'll bounce back coming off a loss. And Oklahoma State, I don't know. They lost some players, last year, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't see them being as good as they can be, and I believe Texas is just a better team overall than Oklahoma State is. What's Oklahoma State's right? Are they ranked still?
Yeah,
In
they're
the
number
teens?
12 and they're 5-0.
Number 12 and 5-0. Really?
Yep.
They haven't really played nobody though. I mean, do you know of any good wins they had, or if you don't know off the top of your head, don't worry about
Yeah,
it.
I got them right here. They beat Baylor.
Oh, that's not a bad one.
No, that's not a bad one. They beat Kansas State.
That's another decent win.
They beat Boise State.
Yeah.
And Missouri State and Tulsa.
Yeah, we'll see what they can do against Texas. Texas had some, good. They faced some decent teams in Arkansas, and they faced Oklahoma.
I think Texas's running back, Bijan Robinson. I mean, he's great.
Oh yeah, dude's. Yeah.
And if he can carry him, if they can, establish that run game, get the play action pass with that Thompson guy, man, I think Texas. I think this is good.
Yeah, and one of my favorite players in Oklahoma State used to be what was the running back? But didn't Hubbard, was that Hubbard that went there? Chuba Hubbard.
Hubbard.
Yeah, I used to like him for Oklahoma State. I used to like
Barry Sanders.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right, well, let's go on to the next game. Arkansas, Auburn. Both, Auburn coming off a loss. Both lost against Georgia just recently.
That game's at Arkansas.
Oh, is it? Is it at Arkansas? Okay, I might have wrote it wrong. It's at Arkansas. Okay, I could have wrote it wrong. Appreciate you there. So I believe what it is. I think it said Arkansas is favored by 3.5. If I do have that right, I'm almost positive I do. But Arkansas is favored by 3.5. I'll double check. But who you got in this game, Josh?
Let me see.
I'll double check. Just let's see. Yeah, Arkansas is favored by 3.5. I just saw it.
Yep, Arkansas favored by 3.5 at Arkansas. Auburn coming off.
Tough defense.
Man, I know, man, but Auburn has that lucky stuff happen. I'm gonna go Arkansas. I think the offense will be too much for Auburn. I'm gonna go Arkansas.
Arkansas coming off 2 losses as well, right? Coming off back-to-back. Didn't they just lose to Ole Miss too as well, right? They lost to Ole Miss and Georgia. So coming off 2 losses. Playing Auburn, 3.5. Yeah, I hate to say it. I'm going to agree with you. Coming off 2 losses. Playing an Auburn team who's struggled with some teams that have not been that good. They've beat some teams that have been decent, but they've struggled with some teams that are, not the greatest. And Arkansas, I believe, still, supposed to have a good defense. I don't know about after last week, but, we'll supposed to have a good defense.
Lane Kiffin can make any defense look silly.
Yeah.
If he's doing it right, man. But, in that game, he went for it on 4th down, like the whole game. He was 4 for 5 on 4th down. Which is good, which doesn't bode well if the next game he thinks he can do it again. I mean, he's going for it on 4th down all the time.
Gotcha. Well, Preston did go with Auburn. He's taking Auburn, so Preston's going different than us this week. So see how that goes. Next game. One game I put on here just because it's spread, and it's 2 big schools, even though LSU ain't great no more. And we'll probably all be the same here. LSU, Florida favored by 10.5. Who do you got, Josh?
Yeah, Florida minus the 10.5.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I think Florida's a way better team. LSU's not great. Florida, it could honestly be more points the way LSU has looked to me personally. I think it should be more points.
Yep.
I agree. I think it should be more points.
Unless Florida's, you catch Florida sleeping and getting in preparation for Georgia, because
any word on Richardson? Is he running anymore? Is he playing? How much is he playing?
I hadn't watched the Florida game since they got beat by Kentucky. So
yeah, I knew they were still had Emory Jones, but I didn't know if they were giving Richardson still any run. Yeah, Preston, he's going with Florida as well. Shocker. I would think everyone would go with Florida here. All right, we got a good game in this one. Let's see. A lot of points here. 3:30, Kentucky versus Georgia. They're at Georgia. Yep, at Georgia. Minus 23.5 is Georgia. Josh, who you got?
20.
It's a lot of points, man.
Man, for two undefeated teams, the way Kentucky's playing right now, man, Kentucky's looking good. Kentucky's going to lose, but they're not going to lose by that much. I'm going to go with Kentucky in the points.
Yeah, man. I mean, I agree with you. That's just too many points. 23.5. I mean,
I think they'll lose by 21.
yeah. I mean, if Georgia's
Or maybe 23, but
yeah,
not 24.
yeah, Georgia's gonna have to put up some points, and they've proven me they can put up some, but I'm still not a huge fan if they got Stetson Bennett back there. Personally, I'm not. I don't like their chances.
Man,
To put
man,
up.
Stetson Bennett's doing a fine job.
He's doing a fine job. But
He's doing better than no old dude that's injured all the time, JT Daniels.
I personally like JT. I just don't trust Bennett.
I just don't know if Kirby Smart's going to mess this quarterback situation up and try to plug JT Daniels in when the team's vibing with Stetson Bennett.
See, I don't know. I mean, I like him, but I just feel like in the long run, I still don't know. I still don't trust the guy. I still don't.
Kentucky's quarterback Levis or whatever his name is.
Could you see honestly? Could you see Stetson Bennett? National champion for Georgia. It just doesn't seem like it's going to happen. That is what's Georgia's quarterback situation is going to, that's what's going to hold them back. That's what's
if anything holds them back.
Yeah, if anything holds them back, that's what's going to hold them back. I agree.
It might be their year.
I hope so. I really do, but I've been worried about the quarterback situation all year. We'll see. Preston, he's going with Georgia, so he's different than us again, going with all different, I think, so far besides one game. All right, let's move on to the next game. We got BYU coming off a loss from Boise State. They're going, I believe they're playing at Baylor. Baylor minus 6.5. Josh, who you got?
Yeah, BYU, they lost. They were undefeated. They got beat. BYU at Baylor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with Baylor and the 6.5.
Going with Baylor. I haven't seen too much of Baylor this year. Haven't caught up with them. I know they had some, decent games. What's Baylor? Baylor ain't ranked, are they? They right outside the 25, ain't they? Are they ranked?
I think they're right outside.
I want to say they're right outside the 25, and BYU, dropped a little bit, I'm sure. I'm actually gonna go with BYU, and it's kind of biased because I don't know, for some reason I've always liked BYU. I haven't saw too much of Baylor, and I used to like, BYU's probably, besides SEC schools, BYU is probably one of my favorite schools. I don't know. I've always rooted for them.
You a Mormon?
No, I don't know. I just always rooted for them, and always rooted for them. That used to be my team, and playing NCAA football 14 too. We used to play that all the time. Some reason, I always picked BYU. If I had to pick a bad team, that's who I'd pick. But Preston, he's going BYU plus the 6.5 as well. So let's go to the next game. TCU, Oklahoma. Oklahoma favored by 11.5. Who you got?
TCU at Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Believe it is at Oklahoma.
TCU at Oklahoma. 11.5 is what you got.
Yes, sir. 11.5. That's what I got.
Yep, I'm gonna go with Oklahoma.
Going with Oklahoma. Well, tell you a fun fact here. Well, besides some of the bad games besides teams they beat 76-0 and team games they played that was 48-0, nobody's. They haven't beat nobody by 11.5 this year. And TCU, the Horned Frogs, they ain't beating the Horned Frogs by 11.5. I'll tell you that right now. Oklahoma, you never know with Oklahoma. They might even lose this game. Who knows? You don't know with Oklahoma. We'll see what that new quarterback can do. I want to see it. I want to see what he can do before, see what he can do in this next game. Maybe it was Spencer Rattler. Maybe they'll win this game by 21 points and prove me wrong. I'm not sure how great TCU is this year, but I'm sure they're I'm sure they're as good as these other teams that have kept up with Oklahoma. Preston, he's going with Oklahoma minus 11.5. And I believe we got one more game here. Ole Miss, Tennessee. I believe they're playing at Rocky Top. I'm not sure. Ole Miss is favored by 3. Just by 3 against Tennessee. Tennessee's been so up and down. You never know with Tennessee. You don't know if they're going to win by 20 or you don't know if they're going to lose by 20. You just don't know.
I'm
Josh.
sorry. What was that game again? I got a text. Ole Miss in Tennessee.
Ole Miss at Tennessee. Yes, I believe they're at Rocky Top.
Favored by how much?
By 3. Ole Miss, or we'll say 3.5. I meant to put 3.5. The Ole Miss favored by 3.5.
At UT and Tennessee been scoring hella points lately. And it's at Tennessee. It's at night. Is it at night?
I would think so because it was on one of the bottom. I think it's a 7 o'clock game.
Yeah, 7:30 game.
Yeah.
Man, with Tennessee scoring like they've been scoring, this Hooker guy at quarterback, Ole Miss, both of them's defense sucks, man. Whoever's gonna have the ball last is gonna win. Man, I'm gonna have to go with the Ole Miss Rebels minus 3.5.
Ole Miss, you're going with Ole Miss minus 3.5. Yeah, I think we're going to have only one game different. I think I'm going to go with you. I think I'm going to go Ole Miss as well. I just don't, I'm not a fan of Tennessee. If you don't know that, I'm a Georgia fan. Not a fan of Tennessee. And Tennessee just breaks your heart. They're like Georgia. You think they're going to compete in some of these games, and they'll probably come. They might come out and get blown out by 30 points. You just never know. You never know with Tennessee. They might come out and win this game by 30 points. You just don't know with Tennessee. You don't know what they're going to do. But Preston, he's going with Ole Miss as well. And by the way, I heard something about the quarterback for Ole Miss. Is he good? Was he hurt at one time? Did he get hurt this season?
No, he's in.
He's in.
I
Okay.
haven't heard anything about
maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. I don't know.
Got his feelings hurt at Alabama, but that was about it.
Yeah, I thought somebody said he got hurt this week or something. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else that got hurt this week, another quarterback, but I could have swore it was him. Yeah. But yeah, let's move on. Preston, he did go with Ole Miss as well, minus 3.5. Yeah. So, do you have your lock of the week, Josh? Any lock of the week? Any favorite you like out of this game?
Let's go with Florida. 10.5 over LSU.
Florida 10.5. That's an easy one. I'm sure a lot of people would go with that one. I'm going to go with TCU plus 11.5 against Oklahoma. I'm taking TCU. I'm riding with them. TCU only lost by 5 against Texas. So and Oklahoma no different to me. I don't see Oklahoma blowing anybody out. Me personally, besides some of those no name schools, I don't know. Unless this quarterback somehow does it and he's the next Tom Brady or something, we'll see. But I don't see it. Preston, he don't have a lock of the week, but Josh, after all this, I know you said you put in your top 25, you sent them in, for the other show. What's your top or your top 4? We do the top 4 on this show. Do you have a top 4 for this show?
Yeah.
After Alabama losing.
Yeah, let me pull it up real quick so I don't go different than what I have in my top 25. Let's go with Georgia, Iowa, Cincinnati, and Oklahoma.
Georgia, Iowa, Cincinnati, and Oklahoma. I think that's probably everybody's right now. Me personally, if I'm going by best teams, I'm still putting Alabama in there, even though they lost. But I'm probably still maybe even Ohio State. Ohio State's haven't really played nobody, but they're beating down some teams. They're beating them down even though they don't play nobody. I know you're not a big fan of Ohio State. What's your thoughts? If they move into the top 4, any thoughts on them?
Yeah, they control their own destiny as well, don't they?
Yeah.
They lost to Oregon, so they can still win the Big Ten. Big Ten champs getting in.
Yeah.
SEC champs getting in.
I think that's me personally. I think that's who's going to get in as Ohio State.
A one loss Big 12 champ or an undefeated Big 12 champ's getting in.
Yeah.
And then it comes down to the Pac-12 champion and Cincinnati, where they put Cincinnati in over a Pac-12 champ because the ACC's out of it. I mean, Wake Forest is still undefeated, but they're not going to be for long.
Wake Forest is undefeated, man. I haven't watched much Wake Forest. I always made fun of Wake Forest, telling them I told Preston that's Clemson's always Clemson's toughest game of the year is Wake Forest. But
it might be this year.
Might be. I would love it. I would love if Wake Forest beats Clemson. They haven't played yet, right?
No,
yeah. When did I don't know when they play it. I'll find anybody good go to Wake Forest. I'll find me a Wake Forest jersey and come on the show with a Wake Forest jersey on.
Wake Forest.
I'll wear it on the show. I'll wear it on the show.
Did you see Florida State put a whooping on North Carolina?
No, I didn't. I didn't. I haven't seen Florida State beat nobody. I hadn't seen Florida State beat nobody in a while, but yeah.
I think the ACC's out of it for
that
sure.
Quarterback, y'all must not be doing too hot over there. That quarterback from North Carolina.
Yeah, I don't think so. I thought he was going to be really good, but
who's in? Speaking of that, I know we're going to get to that later, a little bit later in the year. But who's tops your Heisman right now? Any names come off the top of your head?
I like the running back from Texas, Robinson. I still like Bryce Young, and I like Ole Miss's quarterback. Puts up a lot of good numbers.
Corral.
Yeah.
Who would win it on Georgia? If Georgia wins. I mean,
Georgia's defense. I
guess it would have to be somebody on defense. When's the last time somebody on defense won the Heisman? I mean,
it would have to be what's
Clowney?
Nolan got no. I don't think Clowney won. But I'm talking about Georgia's defensive player. Their linebacker is his name Nolan. Last name Nolan. Let's say
gave it to Jordan Davis, but I don't know. His numbers don't jump. He makes a big impact, but like I said, his numbers don't always jump off the page. But yeah, I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. But yeah, is there anything else you want to talk about before we move on to the NFL show and get into this Saturday and watching some college football?
Nope. Let's just hope Alabama can bounce back, and if they do, I feel bad for Mississippi State.
Feel bad for Mississippi State, yeah.
Yeah, if Alabama pulls together and does what they're supposed to and takes care of business, usually when Alabama loses, the next game is pretty bad for whoever they play.
No, yeah, I'm sure it's going to be, and let's hope Georgia don't blow it somehow. Let's just hope Georgia don't blow it somehow. That's all we got to hope there. And
just hope that the pressure of being number one doesn't get to Georgia because they are playing a good team.
Yeah, we'll see. Honestly, I'm not rooting for Kentucky. If Georgia lost to anybody, and I wouldn't. I want Georgia to go all the way. But if somehow, some reason, if they did lose to somebody, I'd want Kentucky to go all the way. But
okay. I'm about to say if they lost to somebody, you wouldn't want it to be somebody who would be in contention of taking the SEC. So
I want Georgia to win. Yeah. I want Georgia to win it all, but I'm not.
I mean, if you lost, I know I hate it for Georgia, but I would hate it for Georgia. But if they were to lose a game in the regular season, if you're a Georgia fan, you hate it to be Florida, but you need it to be Florida. If you're gonna lose, you would need it to be against Florida.
No, Georgia definitely.
Florida has two conference losses. So
Georgia definitely don't need to lose this game against Kentucky. I know that, but I'm saying if there's some reason, if Kentucky did make a run. I wouldn't mind it, but not this year.
That would be so weird.
Not this year. They could do it next year. It's Georgia's year this year. I
don't think Kentucky's won the SEC since 1957.
Yeah, it would be something. I haven't seen Kentucky this good in a while. It's been a minute, but yeah, I think that's going to end it. Like I said, we'll be back next week. Hopefully, all four of us. We'll see. We'll see how everything goes. But I appreciate everybody watching. Peace.
Peace out.